Good morning, afternoon, evening, everyone, and welcome to Pokeforum Tour Season 3, Electric Boogaloo. So, this season is, the format is a lot different from your standard format. Dill is going to have his way to create a really original and unique concept. Well, I think he has anyway. I don't know if he's copied that from someone else. But, yeah, anyway, basically, I'm going to go over the rules now before we go into the matches for anyone who's not familiar with the tour rules. So basically, the way it's run is there are booster packs, which I'll go over in a minute, which you have to buy using Hoyle coin, which you get from battling the special guest of the week and your weekly rival. So you use those Hoyle coin, buy booster packs, and in those booster packs you're going to get certain types of Pokemon depending on the boosters. But yeah, I'll go into the boosters after we've just quickly gone over the rules. So rules is Pokemon, well, we're playing all the matches on Pokemon Showdown, National Dex format. And yeah, depending on the Pokemon you get, you can use any form. So you can use the Prevolutions, Galar forms, Alolan forms, whatever. No Mega Pokemon yet, and that's basically it really. Just standard National Dex rules, no Megas though, and buy in Pokemon. So the booster packs, which is probably like the best part of the tour, are over here. So you've got quite a few different packs. You've got the Vegan Creative Pack, which is grass and bug Pokemon. You got the Wet Room Wall, water Pokemon. You got the Friend Zoned Again pack, which is Ice and Ghost. The KFC Bollard, Steel and Fire. Hoyle's Hole, Ground and Poison. Big Sugar, Thick and Furry Pokemon. Data Miner, Electric and Psychic. And Yoshi Bike, which is fast. And then you got the special premium packs, which are Grace's Aces, which are Fairy and Flying. And Dragon and OK Blackheart with Dragon and Fighting Pokemon. So, these standard packs, as you can see, are one Hall coin, and then you got the premium, which are two. Let's have a look at each of these quickly from what we've seen so far. I thought you'd have the description here, but anyway, yeah. Let's sod that then. I wanted the description. We can jump on Discord and see the description. So anyway, and then finally you got the special guest. This week was KTL, and yeah, you have to contact Dill to get in touch with, so he can put you in touch with KTL so you can have your special themed battle. Each special guest is going to have a certain theme to them. And goddamn, I'm going to get my video not copyright struck, but it's going to be struck for having that grotesque figure in it. Okay, so that's basically the rules. I don't want to go to home because that's going to have the results of the week. So let's jump on Discord. And yeah, so you got a quick description of each pack. You got Vegan Creative as a plant powered booster pack that specializes in helping other vegan and ethical battlers stand out. Consider us a partner in your tournament position in Journey. So it's got a mixture of grass and bug type Pokemon. Yeah, each pack contains one guaranteed rare Pokemon, 2 uncommon, 3 common, and 1 wild card. So there you go. Then you got Grace's Aces. I'm gonna have to unlist this video now. Luke Jackson was heard to remark, "My favourite is Grace. Cute, lovely, smart, plus amazing. You think so? Oh yes, stunning, kindly, love it, hug it. When sleeping, warm and cuddly, spectacular, ravishing. Oops, look at the time." So yeah, this is one of the premium packs, which is Fairy and Flying. Then you got the Wet Room Wall. There is almighty fucking hole in the fucking wall, and it's full of water Pokemon. KFC Bollard. What's in this pack? Ask yourself, if I hit this Pokemon with my car, would it knock my wing mirror off? So you got the sturdiest steel types and a sprinkle of rock types, and just enough fire types to cook the perfect KFC recipe. The description of these packs are just great. So to getting ghosted, ladies giving you the cold shoulder. This is the pack for you. Like, that's Ice and Ghost. The OK Blackheart. Only the edgiest, angriest, most dad punching Pokemon appear in this booster pack. Dragon Fighting and Hoyle's Hole. This massive hole in the ground is more toxic than all of Pokemon put together. It sure is. Okay, so those are the packs. So with that done, I am going to get into the fixtures now. Okay, so here we have the fixtures for week number 1. We've got Roo Vs Hoyle, Luke vs Rick, Louis vs Declan, Min vs Jerky, and JJ vs Joe. Obviously, as in football, all the teams on the left are the home teams and all the ones on the right are the away teams. That's the fixture list order, but that's not the running order. The running order of the video is going to be, first off, Min vs Jerky, then Louis vs Dex, followed by Luke vs Rick, then Roo vs Hoyle, and finally JJ vs Joe. So now you've had the short introduction and explanation of how the tournament is set up. Let's jump right in and start off with Min vs Jerky. I'm going to give you their team lineups and the highlights of their battle. Okay, so let's start off first with the home team. That is Min hosting Jerky. So as you can see here, we've got a very offensive lineup here. It's a 1-1-3-1. In fact, I'd say it's so offensive that Mimikyu is more of a false centre-back, really, because we know its defensive attributes aren't the greatest. But out of the whole squad, it's the one with the most defensive plays. So you've got Mimikyu holding the fort at the back. Then you've got Axel Gore in the middle, supporting the rest of the attackers, setting up entry hazards so that they can score some nice KOs for the rest of the team. In the middle, as an attacking midfielder, sitting just behind Talonflame, is Latios. On the right wing, you've got Weavile, and on the left wing, you've got Jolteon. Finally, as the front man, you've got Talonflame. He's the one who's going to be trying to go for all those KOs and earning his team the win. So now, moving on to the away side, that's Jerky's team. Jerky's equally gone for an offensive lineup with another 1-1-3-1. We've got definitely a more defensive centre back with Bronzong. It was definitely definitely has the defensive capabilities to take more hits, especially more so than Mimikyu. Then as the deep line playmaker, we've got Heatran. He's going to be linking the rest of the attackers, setting them up to help them secure some KOs. On the right wing, we've got Pyroar. On the left wing, we've got Cobalion. Sitting behind Scizor is Klinklang as the attacking midfielder. He's going to try and set up and either score a goal himself or help out Scizor. Finally, as the big target man up front, you've got Scizor, and that would be their away lineup. So let's move on to the highlights. Okay, first match of the day, we've got Min versus Jerky. Both lineups are definitely offensive, like we went over. So anyway, let's jump right in there. Min leads with the Axel Gore, Jerky leads with the Bronzong. Okay, so we got Jolteon with the Klinklang now. Klinklang's going to be able to set up a shift gear whilst Jolteon shifts play to the Latios. Klinklang's going to be able to outspeed now, but he misses his chance of scoring a KO. That Latios living with 1% and being able to revenge kill. That definitely made a big difference to the match. Then, not only that, they both missed their shot at getting a KO. Well, Latios are basically just weakening the Pyroar a bit more. The Pyroar finally able to take down the Latios, but at the cost of a lot more damage than that was necessary, which is going to mean that Jolteon's able to get the revenge kill at this point. Jerk then switches in the Heatran, goes for the Eruption, and that's going to easily take out Jolteon. Min sends out his only defensive Mon, which is Mimikyu, and uses Shadow Claw on Cobalion. Cobalion takes that pretty well, but not so much the play rough. And thanks to Mimikyu's disguise, he's able to tank the Iron Head quite easily, and Cobalion is then taken out after doing not much, to be honest. Jerk then switches in Scizor, Mimikyu goes for a Shadow Sneak just to get some damage on it, and Scizor finishes it off with the Bullet Punch. Things aren't looking so good for Jerky right now, seeing as Min sets up a Swords Dance with the Talonflame, gets a nice chunk of damage with the Brave Bird. Jerky goes for Eruption, but obviously after taking that hit, he's not going to be as strong as it was. Min's going to take his chance to heal up a bit, and yeah, then finish him off with another Brave Bird. So that's 2 KOs for Talonflame. And finally, switches in his last one, Scizor. Talonflame goes for a Flare Blitz, takes that out easily, and Min secures the 2-0 win. So that was only a 17-turn match, a very fast-paced match, very offensive, quite different to the next match we have coming up. Okay, so let's have a look at the home team's lineup. So that's Louis. He's definitely gone for a more defensive lineup, which is strange considering he's the home team, but that's all down to the manager's decision there. First of all, we got Clefable at centre back. On his left, we got Umbreon, and on his right, Vaporeon. With those three, the team will definitely be able to tank hits, and with Umbreon's Wish, he'll be able to heal the rest of the squad up. So nice defensive core there. Sitting just in front of them is Mesprit as a defensive midfielder. He'll also be supporting the attackers and helping play, switching out to defenders or switching out to the attackers, sorry. Finally, we've got Staraptor up front as the poacher, and Altaria as the target man. He'll be looking to set up with some Dragon Dances and hopefully finish off the away team with a nice sweep. So that would be the home team lineup. Let's move on to the away team. That's Declan. He's definitely gone for a more balanced lineup with 2 centre backs in Walrein and Ferroform. Those 2 will be able to take most hits quite easily and force the opponent to switch out. Then in the middle, you've got Roserade as a more defensive midfielder and support, setting up Toxic Spites and possibly scoring a KO or 2. Then you've got Gardevoir as a deep line playmaker. She'll be using her offensive prowess to help the rest of the attackers. Then up front, you've got Virizion as the target man. And sitting just behind him, we've got Ditto, who'll be a poacher. He'll be looking to sneak in and score any rebounds or steal any stat boosts that Louis might try and go for. Okay, so now we've seen the lineups, let's go on to the highlights. So, second match. Let's jump right into the gameplay. Both teams line up there. You've got Louis, the home side, and Chain Teapot Dex as the away team. So, let's see how this goes. Right, so first of all, you got Louis starting off with Mesprit, 2 chains. Dex going to lead with his Roserade, which is going to immediately put that to sleep and set up some spikes, whilst Mesprit just does nothing. Louis later on admitted that there was a misclick. I don't know where, if it was turn 2 or turn 3. But at the moment, Roserade is absolutely destroying this team. Louis has no answer for it whatsoever. So I'm going to slow this speed down just a little bit, whilst Dex switches in Walrein, whilst the Altaria tries to set up with a Dragon Dance. That's not going to be able to do much, even with 1 DD, and Walrein is just going to roar him away and reset the attack. So in comes Vaporeon, and he comes back into man of the match so far, Roserade. Vaporeon goes for a Protect, that's not going to work obviously. And now Roserade's going to go for a Sludge Bomb, and Vaporeon's going to set up a Wish. Louis is obviously going to try and get in, or try to switch someone into play. He switches in Staraptor, but Roserade completely outpowers it and scores another KO. So far, Roserade has been just cutting through Louis' team like the KFC bollard through Jerk's car. So, brings in Altaria now, tries to set up DD again, gets a DD off and kills Roserade with an Earthquake, finally netting 1 KO for his team. But Dex sends in Ditto now, which is going to steal those boosts and get a cheeky KO for himself. All that's left now for Louis is Vaporeon and Umbreon. He's going to need a lot of luck to be able to take out 5 Mon with just 2 defensive Pokemon. He turned 29. Dex gets the KO with the Moonblast and defeats Louis 5-0. Good game, Dex, and that was an unfortunate misclick, Louis. Okay, so now we have Luke's lineup. Remember, he's the home team. Gone with a very defensive formation here. 3 at the back with Jellicent, Weezing and Donphan. Those 3 will be the main defensive line, taking all the hits. Scolipede as the deep line playmaker, but also given permission to be a more offensive threat if necessary. And then up front we got the attacking partners, Excadrill and Barraskewda. Those 2 will be looking to be switched in, score any KOs where possible, and will be the main offensive threats. So that's Luke's lineup. Let's have a look at Rick's. So Rick has gone with a very offensive lineup considering he's the away team. 1-2-2-1. Swampert as the sole defensive Pokemon. With Quillfish as the defensive midfielder and Crobat as a deep line midfielder, but also definitely a Pokemon that will be asked to track back and play a more supportive role as well. On the wing, we've got Yanmega and Basculin. Those 2 will definitely be looking to pick off any weak Pokemon and score some KOs. And finally, up front, as the out-and-out striker, you've got Dragapult. He'll, with his offensive prowess, he'll definitely be looking to get some hard hits on Luke's team. So, you've seen the lineups. Let's have a look at the highlights. Okay, so next up, we've got Rick versus Luke. Actually, let's switch sides. So Luke is the home team. Right, they start off. Rick with Quillfish, Luke with Donphan. Rick successfully gets the taunt off, stopping Luke from setting up Stealth Rocks, and he then switches in Yanmega. Yanmega goes for an Air Slash against the Jellicent, and that does a decent chunk of damage, to be honest. Jellicent is unable to burn him. Rick goes for another Air Slash, leaving it on 16, but Jellicent recovers that with a Strength Sap. Rick goes for another Air Slash, adamant on just killing it with the Yanmega. Once again, Luke recovers a bit of HP with Strength Sap, but eventually decides to switch out because there's no point wasting a perfectly good wall. And then, thanks to the red card, the Yanmega switched out. He then goes for the Memento and lowers Swampert's attack and special attack. Not that that matters because it's a defensive wall, and he goes for Yawn, which is going to ruin Luke's chance at setting up with Swords Dance. Finally, Swampert goes for Yawn again, whilst Luke gets his chance to set up Stealth Rocks, and then the Swampert goes for a Scald, and that doesn't do much, but obviously thanks to the Scald's high chance of getting a burn, he does get the burn, which is going to completely just ruin Donphan now, seeing as that sack drop's going to be horrendous. Finally breaks the substitute with Earthquake, and Rick decides to switch out, obviously expecting the Earthquake again, but Luke predicts him, clearly using the data mine right there to go for a knockoff, and knocks off Crobat's Black Sludge. Rick goes for a Brave Bird just to damage the Excadrill, and Excadrill revenge kills with the Iron Head. Rick then sends in Swampert because that completely nullifies Excadrill's offensive capability. Luke then switches in Donphan, obviously just as a sacrifice because there's nothing else he can really do against it. He then switches in Barraskewda, goes for the Flip Turn, breaks the substitute, and then sends in Jellicent, gets the Water Absorb heal, which is an excellent play by Luke, clearly abusing the action replay once again. Jellicent then goes for a Taunt, which stops Swampert going for that Yawn. And now the tide's definitely turning, Yeah, so Mega goes for a Giga Drain. That does a nice chunk, but that's completely nullified by the Strength Sap once again. Luke then switches out to Scolipede, which is going to take the Giga Drain easily. And then he double switches. Clearly, obviously expecting Rick to switch in Swampert. He doesn't. He switches in Quillfish, gets the Intimidate off on Excadrill. But once again, Luke predicts the Water move and switches in Jellicent. Jellicent being definitely a key player this match. Being able to solidly nullify all of Rick's offensive threats. Luke then goes for a Nightshade just to get some damage on it. Quillfish goes for a Pain Split, which helps it recover quite a lot of HP. Jellicent's taunt finishes, but Luke decides to switch out, go to Excadrill, who gets taunted. Not that that's going to matter because he's just going to go for the Earthquake, but he doesn't. Goes for the Rock Slide. Once again, that data mine helping him secure those nice KOs. So he then switches out to Barrascuda. Barrascuda is going to go for a Flip Turn to break that sub again. And he switches back into Jellicent, which can easily take the Earthquake from the defensive Swampert. Rick now decides to switch into his offensive threat, which is Dragapult. He goes for the Strength Sap, but thanks to Dragapult's clear body, that nullifies its the attack drop. Dragapult goes for a Shadow Ball, which does a huge chunk of damage, and then finishes him off again with the second. Okay, so moving on to Roo's lineup now. This is what he went with against Hoyle. Home team playing a very offensive lineup. We've seen this now a couple of times. We've got 1-1-3-1. Corviknight as a sole centre-back, holding the fort, being the main defensive wall of the team. Then we've got Duraludon, also quite tanky as the defensive midfielder. He'll be supporting Corviknight whenever necessary and being brought in to take any hits. And then up front, you've got Barbaracle as the attacking midfielder, Arctovish as the left winger, and Turtonator as the right winger. Those two will be looking to get some strong hits in, and they'll be searching for some KOs. Finally, we got Barrascuda as the lone striker. He'll be poaching, looking to get any rebounds and score some KOs from weak Pokemon. So that's Roo's lineup. Let's have a look at Hoyle's now. So this is the lineup Hoyle went with as the away team against Roo. Quite the balanced formation we got here. Swampert and Moltres are the main defensive core. Those two will be tanking most hits for the rest of the team. Alongside them, we've got Copperajah as the defensive midfielder. He'll be running back, tracking back even, and looking to be switched in and take some hits, stop Roo from getting any KOs. As a deep line playmaker, we got Golisopod. He'll be used to, he'll be switched in, maybe score a KO or two, switched out again. And then sitting behind Scizor, you'll have Golem as the attacking midfielder. And finally Scizor, who's not being played as a target man, more so as a poacher. So he'll be looking to just take any opportunity he can to score a KO. So that's their lineups. Let's have a look now at the highlights of the match. So next up we've got Roo versus Hoyle. Let's switch sides. So we start off with Roo facing us, or facing Hoyle. So yeah, starts off with the Corviknight whilst Hoyle sets up Stealth Rock. And yeah, Roo goes for the body press. That does nothing. Hoyle gets the burn on that Corviknight, which is going to severely hamper its offensive ability. Roo then switches out, but Hoyle, predicting that switch, goes to Golem, which is Scarf, so outspeeds the Octavish and just completely destroys it with the Wild Charge. Roo then goes into Barraskewda, uses Ice Fang, obviously predicting a switch, but Hoyle is just miles ahead of Roo and stays in, goes for the Wild Charge, and that secures him the KO. So Roo's lost 2 Pokemon in the space of 3 turns. Not good for him. So you got Barbaracle there. Hoyle does a huge chunk of damage with Supersonic Skystrike, then switches out with a U-turn, whilst Barbaracle misses with Stone Edge. Obviously it's the worst move in the game. And he's finished off by Scizor. So Hoyle then switches in Moltres. He's going to recover the Dragon Pulse damage, obviously being the more defensive variant of Moltres. Goes for a Hurricane, that does a nice 50% damage. Goes for it again, just leaving it on 5%, so that's going to easily be a safe revenge kill with First Impression from Golisopod. So things aren't looking good for Roo at all at the moment. 5-2. Duraludon uses the Thunderbolt against Golisopod, forces the switch into Swampert. Swampert's going to be able to wall both of these Pokemon easily. Hoyle goes for the Earthquake, just went for the safe option there. And now it's just a case of wearing down his 2 final Pokemon. Hoyle switches out to Golisopod. Corviknight is going to outspeed that and go for the body press. Obviously he's done that, so he has a safe switch into Golem, which is going to deal 50% damage with the Wild Charge and kill itself in the process. Roo didn't go for the Roost, so now he's left at 32%. Hoyle switches in Copperaja, who goes for Heat Crash, and that does a nice 55%. So far Corviknight is holding its own. Goes for the body press, that's not going to do anything though. And finally Hoyle revenge kills with the Heat Crash. So last Pokemon now, Duraludon goes for the Flash Cannon, that does just mere 20%. Copperaja goes for the Earthquake, a huge chunk. Duraludon gets the kill on it, but not that that's going to matter because Swampert will be switched in, go for the Earthquake and secure the win for Hoyle. So that's a 2-0 win for Hoyle. Good games. Okay, so first up we've got JJ's lineup. Definitely one of the more defensive lineups that we've seen so far, on par with Louis'. So the back 3, we've got Hippowdon, Forretress and Gastrodon. They all sync very well. Forretress being able to be switched in onto any of those water or grass types attack that would be aimed at Hippowdon or Gastrodon. Gastrodon also having the Storm Drain ability, so he can be switched in on water type attacks as well. Then you've got Magearna as the defensive midfielder, setting up rocks and just in general being a nuisance, dealing a bit of damage and helping setting up Gengar and Stakataka, whatever it's called, Stakataka. So yeah, Gengar as the attacking midfielder, sitting behind Stakataka. Stakataka as the target man with Trick Room, and obviously what with it being an Ultra Beast and having Beast Boost, once it gets a KO, its attack is boosted. So that means once it gets the first KO, if it still has Trick Room up, it's very easily going to get another one and just sweep through any unprepared team. So that's JJ's lineup. Let's move on to Joe's now. Okay, so moving on from the home side, let's have a look at Joe's lineup, the away team. So as usual, he's gone for the Rain team and another offensive setup with a 1-1-3-1. Politoed as the centre back, setting up the team and holding down the fort for them. Grumpig as the defensive midfielder, supporting the lone defender and linking that with the attack. Just in front of him as the attacking midfielder, we've got Raikou, who's going to be looking to abuse the rain and score some KOs. Just next to him, we have Arctazol on the right wing and Diancie on the left wing. Those two will be looking to get in behind the defenders and either help out Gyarados score a KO or get a goal themselves. And finally, up front as the big target man, we've got Gyarados himself, legend. He'll be looking to abuse the rain as well and look to set up on any defender that's out of position, which he can use to score a KO. So enough of the team, let's go into the highlights. So we've seen the lineups, let's get into the highlights now. Joe with the Rain Dance team and JJ with a more defensive lineup. You could even go as far as a stall. So let's start. Joe's going to lead with Grumpig, and JJ is going to somehow predict his first turn trick into a Magearna with no item. Very suspicious, but there you go. He then switches out to Politoed as he was locked in the trick just to set up Rain. Joe then goes for a Toxic that misses, so that completely ruins any chance of damaging Gastrodon passively. Just goes for a Toxic again, but JJ switches in the Ferrothorn to take that. Ferrothorn then goes into the Magearna, and Joe switches back to Fuking to take the Paralysis. Fuking is paralysed twice even, so he obviously wanted to get the Thunder Wave off before then, but he was stopped from doing so. So he goes back to Politoed to take the hits. Politoed goes for a Scald, unfortunately doesn't get the burn on, but there you go. So he then switches out to Arctazol just to get some damage, some kind of damage on the Ferrothorn, because so far that Ferrothorn, that defensive trio is proving very difficult to break through. It's almost completely set up to nullify Joe's Rain team, which had been revealed before then. So suspicious. Magearna goes for the Thunderbolt, gets the KO, gets the Soul Heart boost, but then Joe switches in Arctazol, which has the Volt Absorb ability, so it's not going to be able to do anything. Joe then goes to Gyarados, dodges the Toxic, goes for a Power Whip, not suspecting JJ to know that Gyarados learned Power Whip, seeing as he hasn't battled competitively in 12 years. But he switches in to Ferrothorn either way. I'm assuming he predicted the water move anyway. Well, no, because if he's got Storm Dome. I don't know. Very strange game overall. A lot of things that weren't expected. So anyway, Joe goes for the Dragon Dance, attempting to set up, but he wasn't too sure whether he'd outspeed the Gengar or not, so he switches in Arctazol for the Volt Absorb boost, goes for the Icicle Crash, which gets a crit, does a nice chunk on the Ferrothorn, but yeah, he then sets up with the Leech Seed and takes the second hit easily. Joe stays in just to see if he can get some damage, and he doesn't. Goes for the Hydro Pump, but without the Rain boost, it's not going to do that much against Stakataka, who then sets up Trick Room, gets the Gyro Ball, and from here on out, things just go terribly. Uses the Z Power move, which Joe didn't expect whatsoever. Gets another Speed Beast Boost, and at this point, it's pretty much a good game. There's nothing that Joe's Mon can do, seeing as they're all fast, and with Trick Room up, it's going to nullify their speed. So yeah, that's an easy 6-0 win for JJ. Joe, after the match, called out JJ and said that it wasn't actually him, it was an ult, playing as him, which are serious allegations which the PFC are going to be looking into. That's the Pokeforum. PPC, Pokeforum, Pokemon Committee. The PPC are going to be looking into seriously, and Joe might be getting a fine for those offensive comments. But that's all to see. So those are the highlights of the week. Let's move on to the roundup.